Okay, dream journal time. I just had not a good one. Actually, I had several dreams, some good, some bad. I am gonna say trigger warning, but I don't really think I want to go into details on this one because it involves very, very difficult subject. I had, unfortunately, I had to confront like family members in my dream about childhood abuse that I don't remember being a thing, but in the dream I was like, I very much remembered it. And like, I was very angry and I was like screaming at them. And they were very defensive and trying to say, like, at first, well, actually, they admitted to it almost right away. And one even like volunteered more information about an incident, and it was a lot. Like, I just didn't like it. So I'm not gonna talk too much about it because I feel like this could be confusing for uh yeah, it would be confusing if like they watched the video, like they'd be like, are you accusing us of this? I'm like, no, this is a dream, but it was like it was like a nightmare. So anyway, then, and now this is really odd. I had many back-to-back dreams and I actually remembered several of them. There was one where I was just like driving around in a car, like a new car. That was like a second dream. Then there was a third and a fourth dream where I was inside a video game. Like, I probably would have also thought this was a nightmare if I hadn't had this intuition. Like it looked like a stylized video game. Like the colors were more saturated. Things looked 3D and digital. It had to do with one of them was sort of like it was a really weird story about like it was like a Sims game sort of like is that the best way to describe it? I would say so. Yeah, it was like a Sims game where or like a game of Kenshi more like because there was probably combat in this game and I think there were zombies in this game, but it had like a lot of Sims components. Like I had to make sure I had to go eat and stuff, and like it was really weird. Um there were some familiar characters in across these dreams, and recently I was listening to like a channel who talks about like spirituality and stuff, and they said when you see a character in your dream and then you go to sleep or then you wake up and you go back to sleep and you see that same character in your dream, they said something really weird about that. Excuse me. They said that was what did they say? They said those aren't dreams, those are spells. And I was thinking like I don't know how I feel about such things. I'll say for the intents of let's just say, oh, okay, I believe that. Does that mean, and just for the sake of this question, let's say I believe that this is a spell. Does that mean the person that I saw in the dream is the one doing the spell? Because this has happened twice. So a couple days ago, I had another dream, and I didn't mention this one because I was so busy that day. I didn't even have time to do a dream journal. And when I was trying to sleep, I actually woke up and went back to sleep several times. And I had been listening on my phone. It's been just playing like inspirational or like philosophical stuff in the background. I think it was kind of stuff about I think it's Carl Jung. It was like one of those YouTube videos that just go on and on about some of Jung's books and teachings and what he thought and kind of how the direction his philosophy has gone, or the direction that their psychology has taken kind of more in the modern era. And so like the weird part about that dream was there was a guy in the dream, a really, really like small, not small, like tiny, but like a really short dude. And he was narrating everything that my phone was playing in real life, but I could hear it obviously in my dream. And he was saying it. It was coming out of his mouth, even though it was like a dude with like a way deeper voice on the phone. Like, and it was like, um, it was just really weird because in the dream, it was this guy, and he was kind of like, again, another spiritual type who had all these books and these weird necklaces with pentagrams and like an altar and a bunch of spiritual stuff. And there was like this house that he had owned, and he was like letting me visit him for vacation and stay at this house. And like, he was just a really cool dude. He kind of reminded me of this neighbor that I had named Chris growing up, because he had like short blonde hair and like blue eyes, and he was short on the shorter side. But it definitely wasn't him. It wasn't Chris, but it reminded me of this person. And then I woke up in the middle of this, and I thought it was so weird because I was like, the what I was listening to him saying in the dream in his voice, which was higher pitched. Then I woke up and I heard it on the phone from a deeper voice from this YouTube channel. It was really bizarre. So I guess the only reason I can't go too much into detail because literally it was just like copyright. It was just like this. It was just one of those random channels. I didn't even really. Probably should have saved the video just out of curiosity so I could go back and listen to it again because it was kind of interesting stuff. But yeah, it's just really deep end philosophy, just talking a lot about like what exactly was happening in this channel. So it's like so weird. And anyway, I guess it was another spell, although it doesn't really make sense because like are a bunch of different people spelling me then, because this dude looked totally different. So this dude was like my age or a little bit younger, really small. I'm short. He was probably my height or shorter, and he just looked like the way he looked. Now that was a few days ago. That was like 2 days ago actually. Today, the one that I just had, in my fifth and sixth dream that I had last night or this morning or whatever. Now this had a guy in the dream. Oh, I didn't talk about the fourth dream. So the third dream was that weird video game. The fourth dream was another video game, but it was a space explorer, like a No Man's Sky type of video game where you go, or like an EVE Online, where you get on a spaceship and like you explore the galaxy. It's like, it reminded me a little bit of like Mass Effect because you have to do like these leaps from like one gravity well to another. So basically you have to jump from one star system to the other, and you can get stranded in between. So it's not like you just get on a ship and you just fly like free willy. Like you have to like, in the game, it's not like Kerbal Space Program where you do all the math yourself and calculate a launch, but you automatically calculate a launch from one star system to another, and if that launch fails, you get stranded. It's really, really weird. And so it was so beautiful because one of the, like, you just saw all these stars and planets and stuff. And one of the last things I saw is, it felt like a demo. I didn't get to see a ton of this game, but one of the last things we saw was this beautiful gravitational lensing from this black hole. It was like we got to go up close and like look at it, and like it was just bending like all the star, like there was tons of stars behind it because we were near the galactic center. Like, oh, we were along the ecliptic, or is that what it's called, the galactic plane? We were along the galactic plane, so there's a lot of dense stars near the middle of it, and like we were looking through this black hole at the galactic plane, and it was like, as we get closer, the stars just like zoop. It's like the stars moved, but they obviously couldn't have been moving. It was there because they're so far away. It was just the gravitational lensing effect. It was just really beautiful. Like, it inspired me. I'm like, I need to maybe draw this, or like I'm gonna maybe see if I can reproduce this in a game engine. But anyway, there was a lot there. And it wasn't very deep content for whatever reason in that. And so anyway, the next dreams, man, it was like a lot of dreams last night. I always have a lot of dreams, but I don't always remember all of them. And these were like pretty fast paced, and I don't remember these last two, but there's number 5 and number 6. And in number 5 and number 6, I don't really remember a lot that was going on in these dreams. But there was this guy in these dreams, in both 5 and 6. I remember waking up after dream 5 and then going back to sleep and seeing him again. And he was the same dude, but he just had a different shirt on. It was weird. He was like maybe 10 years older than me. I would say 40 or so. Maybe late 30s, or maybe early mid 40s. I couldn't really say. It's hard to tell people's age. And he just was super buff. He was so muscular, and just like He was so muscular that he was wearing the t-shirts he was wearing was just like stretching out his t-shirt and stuff. And his shirt said something like something something daddy. It was very queer. I don't think he didn't like read that super queer, but his shirt made it pretty obvious that he was kind of queer. Something was going on with him. And he was kind of a background figure. I don't really remember him saying anything. I couldn't tell you what his voice sounded like now that I think about it, but he was just around. Um, and his second shirt said something a little bit different. It said something sugar daddy on it, and I was just like, okay, like this is funny. What else? Okay, so yeah, I just kept going to sleep. All right, I probably woke up in the middle of these dreams 4 times. It could have been more, could have been less. It wasn't less, it could have been more though. And yeah, so it was interesting because there are just a lot of variety this time. That first dream was icky. Like it was icky. I had to confront people doing behavior that was really illegal, like just really illegal and just really, really damaging to children. And it was really messed up, actually. It really, really kind of made me not want to go back to sleep after the first time I woke up. So it might have started like a trend. Like when I have nightmares, I wake myself up out of them. Like I always do. I just force myself awake out of them because I want control over the situation. I feel like, especially if I feel like this, I'm not getting anything out of this, like it's just re-traumatizing, then I just force myself awake because I'm like, no, I'm not going to let you just re-traumatize me. I'm going to wake up. So I think the problem with that is it kind of sets this like anxiety, the tone of anxiety for trying to get back to sleep and then if I have more dreams, like, I think my mind is just sort of primed to wake up and have these, like, shallower dream experiences, but for the most part, my sleep was better. I had a long block in there of, like, several dreams without waking up. It was those video game dreams. I didn't wake up in between each one. Like, it more, like, transitioned directly from dream to dream. So I got some decent sleep in there, but after those, it kind of went back to subject matter that I thought was, like, it wasn't nearly as bad as in the first dream, but it was just, like, it was stuff I don't particularly want to be thinking about, and it just I think it was kind of along the same lines of I remember in the fifth dream there was like a council of people, and this council was trying to help me with my case, and it was crazy. In the first dream, I confronted my mom and my dad. Oh, I shouldn't have said that, but anyway, I confronted my parents about something that they did, and it was everybody. It was everybody in my family had done something. I don't know if I don't remember in the dream that I had also done something. It wasn't about it was hardly about me at all. Um so I don't know if that was supposed to be a part of the story or not, but I confronted I think weirdly my dad was in the story. I thought my dad might have been dead. And then I confronted my mom, and she was pissed about it but admitted it at the same time. She was like, yeah, we did that. And I was like, and dad was so inappropriate, and dad did all this, and it happened over and over again, and it happened when I was so little, and now I'm remembering all these things coming back to me. I can remember when I was 3, mom, and I can remember when I was 2 years old, mom, and I know what happened. And she was like, yeah, oh, and we did this. And it was just fucked up. I was like, oh my god. So that was the first terrible dream. And then I woke up and I went back to sleep, and I was still mad. And I was like, oh, well, we're not done. This is what my sister did, blah, blah, blah. We had to call social services over to my house because my sister was doing this stuff too, and she did it to the neighbors and blah, 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 blah. And I confronted this in front of a large group. It was almost those Alcoholic Anonymous or Narcotic Anonymous, what are they called? Like group therapy. No, it wasn't those. It was just like a group therapy circle. Well, it wasn't. I was in a group of some kind. And I called them out. On at that circle, and everyone's just like, oh, and they were all shocked. And I was like, yeah, no, it's fucked up. It's fucked up. And this, the fact that I have to do this is fucked up. And so, ugh, it was bad. I felt like I shouldn't be saying anything. I felt like I was embarrassing other people. I felt like I was embarrassing myself. Those first 2 dreams were really rough, really, really rough. Those are conversations I've never planned. I shouldn't say things like that. I'm not ever planning. I'm just done. I'm not gonna talk about this anymore. Okay. So, yeah. the fifth and the sixth one were almost like going back to the first and second one. So like I was back in the fifth one, it kind of was like there's a circle of people, kind of like in the second dream. But they were adults. They were almost like elders of a community or a church or something. And the dude with the something daddy shirt was in this council. I don't know who else there was. There was some like ladies in their like 50s and 60s. There were some old even much older guys in this group. It's just a bunch of faces, like a lot of faces. I don't quite recognize them. Um, they don't stand out to me as people I've met before, but maybe I just don't remember them. But I have no idea. And in these circles, they were talking about, they were like in meetings to like, it was like protector meetings. And it was about like protecting people or something like this. I can't remember. I just, this was a lot of dreams. Like, cause I had several dreams after dream 6 and I can't remember them at all. And I noticed this theme of like, when I have a nightmare, they become lucid and I have to fight my way awake. And when I do this, I'm more likely to remember my dreams. And the dreams that happen after that dream are more likely to remember. But over time, it kind of goes back to that baseline of not remembering my dreams as much. So take that with a grain of salt, do with that what you will. I just thought it was weird. There was a distinctive, like that dream number 5, I guess, was very much like a therapy session about dream 1 and 2, and I just don't want to go too much back into that. And so dream 6 was not like that. It was something else. It took a different path, and there was like, it was unrelated. But I don't remember a whole lot that was going on. It seemed kind of like a boring dream, but there was some interesting landscape stuff. Like, I think I might have been out in nature a little bit. I was in a totally different location. It was pretty. And that dude was in the dream again, but I don't remember why. I think he was actually near the end of that dream, and he was just around, like, in the background, like an NPC or like a extra in a movie, but I don't remember him doing or saying anything for any of this. So it was weird. I don't get it. I hope that's not a spell or witchcraft or whatever. The idea of spells and witchcraft happening to me in my dream is kind of creepy. I don't like that idea. It's weird. I especially don't like this idea as an atheist, because it's like, ugh, but, or an agnostic, whatever I am. So, if it were, I wouldn't understand the purpose of it, because clearly these dreams are about healing and they're about facing things, and like, I don't want to like assume that it's false or like someone is using a spell to make me misunderstand myself or my dreams or my past, because that's creepy. I don't take it that seriously. I just think they're goofy dreams and stuff, and they make you think a lot, and one thing they do is like, okay, if something like this happened to me, it makes you face it. So it's like, if something like this did happen to me, what would I do? What would I say? What would I think about this? Like, is this so disturbing that I can't even admit this to myself? Or can I admit this? In theory, could I admit this to myself? And like, what would that mean? Or what am I making this mean? So anywho, that's about that. That's a better example. Over the last few days of my dream journal, I've been saying I've been having lots of dreams in one night. So this is a little bit of a better example of how random they can kind of be, but also sometimes connected to one another. Anyway, yeah, what else was there? Yeah, that dream the other day was super interesting. I don't always have dreams. That dream of the Carl Jung YouTube channel showing up as a person giving a monologue in my dream. Now that one is a new one. I've never had that one happen to me before, except like when I was younger. Or let me put it this way, I have actually, but I haven't had these type of dreams happen in a while, where there's this clear boundary violation between what's happening in the waking world and the dreaming world. Like, I am dreaming about something that is really happening outside of the dream. That is freaky. That freaks me out a little. That's like strange, and the brain is so strange, and it kind of shows you how weird, in a way, it's reassuring because it makes me think like, "Oh, well, if something was happening, like, I would probably be alert like, something broke into my house, like, and I was still sleeping, I might even hear about it, and it might come into my dreams, and I'd be alerted to it." So, in a way, it's kind of like a good thing, but, like, it's a rare phenomenon in dreams that I it makes me uneasy to, like, think about this, like, what is going on? So anywho, there we go. Those are my dreams. Hopefully, I wasn't too triggering with some of this stuff, but it's what I dreamed, so here we go.